Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So I've gone through my thank you cards like nobody's business this month. So in readiness for the start of a new month, for May, I'm going to be making some more. But today I've decided to do something a little bit different. Now I want to create a few more than I would do normally. Normally I would only make, like 6 or 8 or whatever. But I went through thank you cards, like I said, like nobody's business in April. So I'm going to make a few more than that this month, but I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me doing every single one because that is like totally and utterly ultra boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few to start off with, and then I'm going to go off and then batch make all the rest because it's easier to do them in batches than it is just to do one as and when you need them. So I've cut some watercolor cardstock. This is the hot pressed watercolor cardstock from Indigo Blue, only because I got my hands on a stack of this when I was down there recently, and it is available on the website and it is hot pressed at reasonable prices. Sound like a good advert, don't I? But it's good stuff because it is smooth. But obviously any hot pressed smooth watercolor paper or stamping card will work just as well for this, as long as it can handle water, because that's what I'm going to be using predominantly today, is water. I've got my pigment powders, my Brusho, the Colourcraft Brushos, and I'm going to be creating some backgrounds on, and then I'm going to be using a brand new stamp from Indigo Blue. This is called Dandelions, strangely enough, and it's just a small A6 or A2 sized stamp set, A6 UK and Europe, A2 size for US stamp set, and you've got the image of the dandelions and you've got one saying which says thank you for bringing sunshine into my life, and that's all the stamp set. That's what you get with the stamp set. This will be being released for sale on Friday the 3rd of May, so this Friday coming. But I've been assured by Alfie and Kay at Indigo Blue, they're putting it up on the website today so that you guys, if you want to, can pre-order it ready for Friday. They can't release it any earlier than that because that's when it's going on the TV. Those are the rules. So, but you can put your pre-order in if you want to before that. So this is called Dandelions. I'm not sure how much it is yet because as of just checking, it's not on the website just yet. The actual artwork for it, like I said, it's not on the website yet, so I can't show you it. But if it's on by the time I get to edit this, I'll put it on screen here-ish. If there's nothing there, then it means by the time I edited this, it wasn't on. So, but just look for the dandelions and it'll be on the section on the Indigo Blue website that says as seen on Hochanda, Hochanda. It does stand for something. It's Home of Crafts, Hobbies and Art, or something like that anyway. But I digress and I'm waffling. So on with the project. So I've cut some of the watercolour cardstock. I'm going to do it in 2 batches because I want to vary the colours throughout. I'll start on the first one. So this is simply cut to fit on an A6 card front, or an A2 if you're in the US, that size. But you're saying, oh, that's twice the size. Oh, come on, focus. Focus, focus. Let's put that in. So I'll try and focus on that and keep me in focus. It's twice the size because I intend to do a double and then cut it down. And then that's 2 fronts done, if you know what I mean. So, and this is simply an A4 piece of cardstock cut height-wise, right the way down the middle, and then top folded. So if you've got 8.5 by 11, you just cut it straight down the middle, score it in the middle, and then fold it over to get your A2 size card. Okay, so I'll put those to one side. So for the colours that I want to use sunshine colours. So I've got orange, and I've also got a lemon, if I can find it. Scarlet, no, come on, yellow. There we go. I've got yellow. So I'm going to be using a combination of orange and yellow on this one, and there's a lemon there as well. So that must be, let's have a look to see what the difference is in colour. So lemon, we've got yellow. Well, there isn't a yellow, so that must be golden yellow. I've crossed it, and we've got orange, which I'm thinking is probably the gamboge, because they don't list the other colour as being orange. This is possibly an old colour set. They may have some more new ones for that one. So I've got these three to start off with. So each of the lids I've got a little pin in. So they're going to be, or they're going to act like little shakers. Now, somebody told me a little tip is to add a couple more holes into the top, and that lets the air out and you can shake them better. Don't know whether that's true, but I'm going to try it on this one. Squeaky squeaky, and see what happens there. Okay, so orange, yellow, lemon. So I'm going to start off with the lightest colour first. So I've got some water in one of my mister bottles, and I'm just going to lightly mist over the top of the paper, and then I'm going to just shake. Now you can see already the pigment starting to wake up. Cool, I'm liking that. And of course I can activate it further by adding more water. First of all, that was the lemon, so let's just try adding some yellow in. And if it doesn't start activating, it means I need to add just a tad more water. So I'm going to spritz from a little bit of a height, so the water just drops down and I've got a little bit of a curl, so the water is going to start running outwards. Obviously, if you've got the chance to tape your watercolour cardstock down and get it to stretch a little bit, that might be better. Ooh. Love it. And that's, stick my finger right in the middle, and then let's just activate that. And just let it blend. So that's going to run towards the middle now, because that's where the pool is. And then out towards the edges. Let's just pick up some of that excess. And then I'm going to add a little bit more lemon in there. And then I'm going to tip it back just to get the water to run back a little bit. Ooh, look. Don't know whether the camera's picking that up, but there's a little bit of green kind of appeared. Can you see where the shadow is? Can you see where it's, I'll move that out of the way, it disappears. It's almost like an optical illusion. Okay, I'm going to heat that now, kind of set that in place, and then just as it's getting a little bit drier, I'm probably going to just add a little bit more on. For no other reason than I can. When you actually get going, you can do quite a lot of these in a short period of time. Right, stop that there, lift it off, and then get rid of all that excess liquid. Just dab the edges, and then I'm going to add some more orange just in the middle, and I'm just going to go straight down. Only because I want a little bit more darker colour to form in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to hit that with the heat gun. maybe a little bit more colour up here. Let's add a bit more yellow. Just try and soak a little bit off the edge. And then just shift that a little. You get some really nice kind of watercolory effects in the background, which is perfect. Okay, that's almost dry. So I want to try and catch those edges. So I'm going to use the orange just on the edge. Add more water, and that's it. Just try and activate everything. Play with it until you get your kind of pleasing kind of background. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that background as it is. I'll try and just dry off the edges. So I'm going to repeat that process now with the other 4 pieces of card. So rather than you sit through and watch me do all the rest, you've seen how I've done this one. I'll do those and then I'll come back when I'm ready to move on to the next step. Can't say fairer than that, can I? Okay, I'm just going to stop there a second. I'm on my 3rd one, and I've just done this one a little bit different. Oh, come on, focus. Oh, excuse me. Oh, dear. Apologies for that. So when all the water had kind of leaked off the edges, I grabbed a pipette and I picked it up and I started dropping it back down onto the watercolour cardstock, and then just before it started to dry I blotted it off with a piece of kitchen roll, and that is the effect, look, that I've just got with that. So it's similar to what you get if you did that with like distress ink. I know, but I just thought I'd share that, so if you're wondering where those blotches came from, that's what it was. So I'll get back to doing number 4 now. So just getting to the last bit on the last one, so it's still a little bit damp, but I'm just going to lift off now those last remaining kind of blotches, just with a piece of kitchen roll, and you've just got those little dots forming, look, kind of like little cells. So the cardstock is still damp, it's all wet on the back where it's all run under, but that's just perfect. So I'll carry on and just get that dry. Just wanted you to see me just remove those bits so you knew exactly what I was talking about. Okay, so my 4 backgrounds are complete. They're all dry. And as you can see, everyone is slightly different to the next. They're all vary in shades of orange and yellow and red, where it's come out of the orange and then mixed. Rather lovely. So I've now got 4 big pieces, which I'm now going to cut down into smaller pieces. So they're going to be cut at just under 4 inches, 10 centimetres to be precise. But if you're doing this in feet and inches, then you just adjust yours accordingly. So I've got 2 fronts there, so this is going to give me 8. And then I can shuffle, mix them up, and of course I can then do these in other colourways so that I've actually got backgrounds on stash for cards in the future if I need them. But I like to vary all my card fronts anyway. Okay, so next on the list is the stamp press. If I can remember what I did with it, I putted it away. Here we go. And I still haven't got around to putting washi tape on those, but thank you for everybody who left me the tips previously. So I'm going to place that like that, that like that, that like that, get the stamp set. Now I need to lay the stamp set so it's just going across that way. To leave space across the bottom for the sentiment. Now I've got to make sure that it doesn't catch. So I'm going to stamp both of them at once. So that should be, oops, try not to get his head in shot. In the right place. See, that is not straight. That's the thing with these text stamps. Okay, and then I hope I didn't completely obscure the view there. I was just repositioning the stamp down at the bottom. So now link up the stamp press. I'm using StazOn because it's a solvent based ink and won't be affected if I want to actually try and do something different over the top a little bit later on. So maybe just give that a second go over on those dandelions. Perfect. Or as perfect as I want it to be. It's simple, but the background just kind of makes it, and then when that's mounted onto either a black card base or in this case a kind of yellowy orange kind of background, it just kind of complements it. Now I can go around the edges with a black pen, which I may do a little bit later, just to kind of give it that little bit of a border, but I think that's going to be good enough for now for me to do the rest. So I'm going to pretty much do exactly the same thing with all the others, and the beautiful thing about it is that I don't have to move the stamp, and this is the great thing about batch making. You can ink up and do as many as you want. Each one maybe just needs a secondary going over on the dandelions. Excuse the rocking and the shaking if the camera's wobbling. There you go. And of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing this in clear embossing ink and then putting black embossing powder over the top if you want a shiny finish. But I kind of like that, so I can then look at the way each of these stamps goes and think, yeah, that's going to be great for the sentiment at the bottom, with everything showing through. There's nothing going to be too dark where I want the text to be. And these dandelions, they're timeless. They're one of those kind of emblems like bees and crowns and that kind of thing that you can send whenever. There doesn't have to be a specific time of year. You can send this in spring, you can send one of these in autumn. Right here in the UK now, the dandelions are in full flower. The heads haven't started just yet. But you could vary the colour scheme as well. If you wanted to do a later one in the year, you could maybe do one in blues, or just in green. Mix your greens with your yellows, add a little bit of blue and yellow and get all three colours all blending together, and you can vary the colour of the card bases from yellow to black to blues to greens. Even craft would work perfectly with these. It's such a versatile little stamp set that I can imagine that this one will get used all year round, multiple times, not just for making thank you cards, but also for little journal pages, because again, it's one of those images that you can use for both. Right, so I've still got another 4 to go, so I'm going to crack on, as the saying goes, finish off these 4, and then I'll meet you again back at the end. Okay, so all 8 of my card fronts are now done, and I've got my distress marker in black soot. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edge of each one, just to kind of tie it all in together. So we've got black on the front, so each one will have a raised black edge, because we'll be sticking the watercolour card stock down onto another card. You'll be able to see those raw edges, so just to be able to finish them off, I won't say give them that kind of professional edge, because that's kind of presuming what I do is actually expert, and I don't presume, but I'm happier doing a more finished product when it comes to doing cards anyway. But because it's water based, just be careful not to get it on the front or on your fingers, because the last thing you want is fingerprints on the front of your cards. So you've seen me do these few. Now, just bearing in mind I'm right-handed and the pen's in my right hand, the front of the card is facing away from me, so that if I accidentally slip, it's going to go on the back. If I had it facing that way and I slipped, so if you've got shaky hands like me, either through age, drink or caffeine, I'm not judging, then this will help. Okay, so I'll finish off doing the rest. I'll be back and they're all done. Okay, so that is the last one of those. So time to bring in my card front. Now before I do that, I just want to run through a couple of variations that you can do with this. Obviously you can change the colours of the background you can use the pigment powders, or if you want to, if you haven't got pigment powders but you want a similar kind of effect, that swirly kind of lovely kind of watercolour effect, just use watercolour paint. If you haven't got watercolour paint, use your distress inks. Add your distress inks to your worktop, add some water, and then use them like watercolours, or just blend the inks. I did a couple of testers using some distress inks yesterday when I was deciding what I wanted to do, and I did that with I think it was broken china and squeezed lemonade on a blue card. So I did that one as a different variation. I did this one with, I think it was peacock feathers and again squeezed lemonade, and I dropped water and then did that kind of watercolour effect. So again, look how different they look, but look very, very similar. And then I did an all blue one. I don't know whether the camera can pick that up, but I did do that kind of reverse, the ghosting effect with the stencil. I think if I do that you can probably see it better. I did the ghosting through a stencil just in the background, and then did a lighter colour in the middle. So that was peacock feathers and broken china. And then my personal favourite, that one, and I splattered water on the top, let it sit for a second or two, and then run kitchen roll over the top, pretty much like I did with that one, but I actually let the white come through on a black card base. I like this one so much, I decided that I was going to do these ones in a similar kind of vein. So you can use your different resources to get a kind of very, very similar kind of result. You don't always have to stick to the same thing. It's slightly different, similar but slightly different, if you know what I mean. So let me just grab, let's see, yeah, that one will do. Pile all those together, and then just for ease today I'm just going to use a permanent tape runner, but obviously you can use glue if you want it permanent, or if you want something which is more repositionable, then why not use glue? So I'm just going to drop that down over the top, and you can see that little black border all the way around, just kind of finishes it. And there I can now add in a little paper insert if I want to, or just write directly onto the card, because it's a light enough colour to be able to do that. So let me grab a couple of the others, make sure that I've got them lined up properly. Sometimes my folding isn't the best. Grab another. See, that's where I went to, that's where I demonstrated going off. I thought I actually had gone off on that one. Like I said, I'm only using the tape runner just for speed. And then just get that equal border all the way around. And you're good to go. A lovely kind of effective, bright, cheerful card for what I think is very kind of minimum and minimal effort. And like I said, you can batch make these things. You can sit, you know, and just do them on the dining room table while you're watching TV. And vary, if you want to, just vary the colour of your cardstock. And I'm going to do these on the orange, and then I think I'm going to switch over and do 4 in the black. So I will do that because you've seen me do this, which is wee boring. I won't say boring, just you've already seen it. So it's kind of like repetitive motion. Once you've seen it done, you've seen it done. And then I'm going to go off and grab some black cardstock, or see if I've got some brown cardstock. I think Ian may have nicked all mine because he uses that for some of his steampunky products. So there's 4. I'll be back when I've done the other 4. Okay, so I ended up doing 2 on a green, dark green card base, and I think that darker background does kind of frame it off quite nicely. I did 2 in black, just like the other sample card that I showed you. Again, I think it frames it really, really nicely, and that black edge really does work. So there you go. It just goes to show what you can do when you vary the colours, you vary the style of your backgrounds. Using one stamp set, you can create quite a lot of different effect cards, and like I said, they're so easy to do, and you can batch make in little or next to no time at all. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me make those cards today. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. But don't forget, the stamp set is available on the Indigo Blue website from Friday the 3rd of May, but you may be able to pre-order it because he said he was going to put it on before then. Have a quick look, you never know. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.